All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Spice and Wolf episode 2.
It gets better every time I say it.
Yeah.
Yep, we're back. The remake is here. It's beautiful. It's fantastic.
It is
Got
absolutely
the returning
gorgeous.
dub cast.
It sounds amazing.
Let's go.
Acting's amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, and let's start a little adventure. Let's go on our little merchant wagon tour as we take Holo home.
And how will this wise wolf change things?
Eventually. Jacob's like, I must wife her. It should have been me, not him.
It should have been me.
But no, without further ado, let's get into this. I hath claimed the furs. As the furriest of the furs.
That's right.
I hate fleas.
It's only natural for them to gravitate towards you.
Aw.
Tail makes a great bed.
I commend your eye for quality. Give my tail that glowing appraisal.
Praise me, yes, I am a goddess.
To hear the coming of disasters and to help uncover lies. They
Uncover
accepted
lies.
An ally in my day.
Tadaima. She's naked. Yep.
Yep. Uh-huh.
These are exquisite pelts, no? I believe they came from fine martens. Perhaps there's another like myself, bringing abundance to the mountain from which they were hunted.
What should I do with the wheat?
To what end are you asking?
Frankly, I'd like to thresh it, if it's not a problem.
As long as I live, that wheat will neither spoil nor wither, no matter
Wow.
how we choose to store it. I shan't remain here if it is eaten, burned, or ground down and mixed back into the soil.
That's only if you don't need it all.
There are many crops that don't fare well outside of the land that they were originally grown in. No, you should not bother trying to sell. You would not be met with success.
So now you are aware of.
I would consider you quite the handsome man, but do try to take better care of yourself.
I may not be the best groom, but clients never complain about my
Yeah.
hygiene. Well, when I bought salt from the trading company in your end, I didn't spend a single coin. Earlier, in a completely different town, I gave another of their branches some wheat. They were two separate contracts and included no exchange of money whatsoever.
What a curious approach to a normal trade.
He's bartering his way into higher value items.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, mister, you have really got a knack for this.
Oh, I'm nothing but an ordinary merchant.
I beg to differ. I'm an ordinary merchant, and I couldn't manage that. Tried for a while, but there was no chance. Saren is my name. I'm still just a rookie merchant, but it's my pleasure to make your acquaintance, sir.
Saren?
This is my wife, Holo.
Oh, you're traveling with your wife. If you're going to all this trouble to cover her, you must have a real treasure underneath that hood.
To uncover my hood would mean dispelling the fantasy you have inside your head, and I would not dare do something so cruel to you.
You know, your wife has quite a way with... I've got a little proposition for you. That is, to hear what I have to say.
All right, give me your elevator pitch.
Yep.
You have 30 seconds. He really is a shitty merchant.
Is that my wheat?
There's a string for a necklace, so you can wear it just like you asked.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it.
that's perfect and adorable.
The string and the wheat both cost money. I had a feeling you'd enjoy the goat cheese, but do you know how much I had to donate to the church in order to get it? What's more, you've got my best clothes. You're going to pay me back for all of it.
Gross. He's not even like.
I find human throats are far too narrow. Though if I recall, I have choked on potatoes before. This vegetable is my nemesis.
My nemesis. Yeah, you're not supposed to eat it that quickly.
Yeah.
That's
On another note, didn't you mention earlier you can tell when people are lying?
yes.
Well, you complimented my tale today, yet it was easy to tell that the words you spoke lacked a certain authenticity. My sense for lies is far from flawed.
And let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Could you tell whether or not that kid was lying?
What kid?
The one who talked to us at the fireplace.
Yeah. Now tell us what he said.
Oh! You are as much a kid as...
Yeah. Nice.
Certain silver coin in circulation that will soon be replaced by a newly minted coin with a higher percentage of real silver.
Ah, it's called Bitcoin.
If we stock up on the coins in circulation now, we can exchange them for the new coins when they become available soon. Profit margins like those would be quite beneficial.
That's pretty basic, but yes.
And in exchange, you'll give me a share of whatever profits you make.
Nice. So her ears could tell that there was some deception going on there.
When you catch someone in a lie, you can often learn more from the motivation behind.
Yes. Yes. Right.
But it took me many years to come to that realization.
Do not let yourself.
Because he's a child.
Yeah.
Yes.
So then, what conclusion would you reach were I not here to guide you on your path?
If I
Yeah.
talked to him, truthfulness of his story is a secondary concern.
Ah.
In a way, I'd act interested in what Zarin has to say.
Why would you do that?
If it's true, I'd stand to make an immense profit.
Then where does that leave us now, since I have told you it is not but a lie?
I suppose.
There was never any reason to hesitate when dealing with this boy. I believe those extra potatoes belong to me.
Yep. I paid for.
Do not forget who you are.
God, they're already a couple.
Oh, yeah.
They basically just had the who's gonna eat the last potato moment. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know it's love when they let you eat the last potato with goat cheese.
Oh, yeah. And he was already, like, ready to hand her the drink
Yep.
because she was going to choke on it.
Yep.
A prayer for my dear husband. Would you stop acting like a quivering babe? Anyway, they've grown surprisingly important.
The church has always been fairly important.
Not the church I
No.
When I first arrived from the north, they were nowhere near their current status. The world has changed a lot from what I knew.
And do you feel like you've changed with it?
I am not so shameless as to seek comfort from a human.
But you would comfort one.
Now hurry! Are we going to go?
Yes, wife. Yes. Absolutely.
Happy wife, happy life.
I'm lacking in funds until I can exchange money for my furs, you see.
That's fine. Why don't we plan to meet again in the poor town of Patio so we can draw up an official contract?
Walking will be much faster than carriage. There's no need to force him to slow down to our pace.
That's fair enough. You merchants are quite stingy with your time.
No. We are constantly spending our time.
They awaken when they sense the morning's air and pull weeds with the afternoon sun. They rejoice for sprouts with the spring's rain and enjoy their bounty when summer comes. Your wits are very sharp, now that is sure.
Perhaps yours are simply deteriorating considering how long you've been alive.
Have you ever heard the real reason why we wolves kill humans so that we can consume their brains and gain the knowledge they kept inside? To one like myself.
Okay. How many humans have you consumed?
They're different.
Yeah.
But of course
They're smarter.
They must have eaten many humans already and torn their brains to shreds.
That's enough! That's enough.
Damn.
I'm sorry.
Cool.
Yeah.
Fun. First bit of conflict.
Rest of the trip passes in
You could say
relative
that.
silence.
Yeah.
Don't ever joke about things like that again.
You are a source of fear for us. So when we see you, we feel like there's no choice, and we attack to defend our land.
So have you.
Some questions are too hard. I will not answer. And now we are even.
Hey.
We still have much to learn. The two of us do not come from the same world.
That's the episode. Yep.
Yep.
Perfect.
All right.
Whew. All right.
Okay.
Now get a little bit more of an idea of these two's relationship, the way in which they're going to work things out,
Yep.
the way in which Holo is amassing a small debt to our boy Lawrence, which now I'm actually curious. Lawrence is his first name.
Kraft Lawrence.
So they're going to call him Lawrence because
Yeah.
that's his last name.
Right.
Because Japanese. Okay,
Yes.
cool. Okay, gotcha. So our boy here is the bartering up kind of merchant.
Yep.
he specifically avoids having to spend money and keep his money in the air by trading up to things with higher value till inevitably he probably would cash out some of it.
Right.
And then use that money to pay for his stuff. But therefore, he doesn't then have any investment to any of these areas. He doesn't have to pay any, cut to all the people here and stuff.
Exactly.
No taxes.
even if he
Classic.
is an even trade and doesn't trade up, he doesn't have to worry about whatever small percentage people would get on the exchange rate when he changes his money or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
It's just okay, cool. I did some business with you. All right, cool. I have my writ or something like that. Bring it in here. Yeah, I'd like payment in this. And hey, he probably goes to a place where, that thing is cheaper.
Right.
So that then he can get it more effectively because he's also in this place. And
Totally. But the idea that whenever you exchange money, then governments get involved, other people and stuff. So what he's literally doing, we have equivalents in our world here, basically, is he is trying to skirt around the tax man, basically, by doing the equivalent. This guy's a fucking libertarian. This guy's trying
Hell yeah, brother.
This guy's trying to basically be like, hey, fuck you, organized society. I got a wagon and a horse, so I don't give a fuck. I'm going to just go around.
IRS who?
IRS, who is that? Oh my God, it's so funny. Man. Okay. So, meanwhile, then he also gets that slight reputation that allows him the opportunity to have people try and approach him for potentially shady investment deals. Now, while he is the kind of person who goes, oh, okay, no matter what kind of lie or deception you're trying to prove here, I'm going to investigate why you think you can make money off of me.
Right.
Giving you something here.
Because then I could potentially make money off of you.
Well, right. But short of you actually just straight up scamming and robbing me, there is something that you do know about this.
Sure.
And you are going to be using that in some way. It's just whether or not I'm actually going to be making as much money as you're going to be making.
Right, because obviously, he's
all
probably...
you want is my liquid, basically.
Right. He's probably not wanting to, trying to say, oh, you should pay me in advance for this thing that I'm telling you.
Right.
No, Lawrence isn't stupid. He knows that, right?
Right.
But, yeah, at the very least, he can leverage the fact that Lawrence is more established and will have probably more buying power and things like that.
Right.
And then there you go.
And it's fun because for the most part, I don't care about the individual currencies and the exchange rates.
You don't care about the fact that this other currency is going to have...
Shut the fuck up. No, what I'm bringing up as the point is that I don't care about the individual exchange rates themselves. I am interested in the whys and the hows and the all that.
Sure.
That our boy Lawrence basically is going to figure out here. It's not interesting to know that the exchange rate for this is 0.67 versus 0.91 or what have you elsewhere. It's interesting that Lawrence then goes, okay, I now have a goal. I'm going to take this guy's knowledge here and go run with it in this direction versus just immediately jumping on the thing and then going, wow, I made a profit. I did a thing here.
Right,
because
it's a puzzle.
Right, it's a puzzle, but it's not a puzzle of arbitrary fictional world mechanics. It's a puzzle of him seeking out the truth, effectively, of the matter here.
Yep.
And that's far more interesting. So,
Right.
Very cool stuff to set up the way in which his character will drive the story. And then Holo will use her senses, which I like that they kind of focused on this episode. Well, she has, a keen hearing, a keen bit of eyesight. And then her nose is... Well, it's a human nose, so,
Right.
It's kind of bugger all.
It's a very
that,
nice nose, I suppose, but...
Yeah, can't smell the manly musk on Lawrence properly.
Right.
She's like, you stink. It's like, well, he's not a wolf, so therefore you're not going to find his smell interesting for now.
Right. Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And yet it's something where, because, again, she's not familiar with this time and all that stuff, she can't immediately fix everything, but she also doesn't have to because, her advice that she gives, it doesn't actually change what Lawrence would have done.
No.
Right? It's this requires further investigation, right?
Yeah.
But because she's still a wise wolf, right? She can give him that additional bit of,
Right.
discernment or insight or whatever, as they go on their little financial escapades.
Yeah, so I found this episode to be rather charming. I did like their repartee. It was kind of cute.
Yeah.
I did find there to be a little bit of a there's something that I'm hoping they don't rely on this too much, but it's probably just because it's the beginning of the story. But there's a lot of times where characters will just say exclamations of things about, "Wow, you're an amazing merchant." There was nothing in that conversation that showed that he was an amazing merchant. So I just would love to have the dialogue be meaty in and of itself, rather than having people exclaim about things being amazing before there's any actual evidence of that.
Yeah.
And that happened quite a bit this episode. So having the other times where they actually engaged about the way in which we perceive time and the way in which some people view it as a commodity, a currency, and other people are like, no. Time is a monster. It is much larger than your ability to, mercantilize it or what
we
have
work
you.
around the seasons versus you trying to,
Pretend like you can trade it.
to pinch the minutes,
Right.
Yeah.
Because you're not. In some ways, that's the part that's rather fun here, is that he had just talked about how, we can't travel with this guy because he's going to go faster on foot. So, right, sure, but that's nothing to do with your time necessarily. Maybe if anything,
Yeah, it's just an
traveling-
explanation of why this guy wouldn't. And so it's I understand that, and so I'm not going to bother asking.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the idea that, you at some point, are beholden to your human frailties, to your human needs, to your own specific things that are, I cannot go on, or what have you. So
Sure.
At what point does that end? At what point do you eventually call your own boundaries and limits?
grinding, never
No,
ends.
no, that's the point, though. That's the point, is that every business owner, every person that runs their own schedule for
Sure.
everything, not talking about you run, your 30% of your schedule for your, your sleep, your eating, your drinking, your shitting,
Sure.
your, all your basic needs and stuff, in addition to that, but you run it for everything. You're not clocking in anywhere or anything
Nope.
like that. You eventually have to come to a point where you set limits on your time.
Sure.
That you can't spend 100 and, whatever percent of it on this thing here. You have to actually
Right.
So I love that she kind of mocked him in that specific area kindly by saying well, actually, it's kind of funny that you say that, because
Right.
and even try to use the farmers as a comparison, because
Sure.
I would view it as completely the opposite.
Of the farmers or her?
She's comparing herself to the farmers. She says,
Right.
I'm like them. I don't basically trade that
Right,
time.
because-
I'm not freaking out about spending my time and pinching the minutes, if you will.
Because the world will continue to turn, and all
The seasons aren't coming any faster.
Right.
I can't do anything in summer that has to be done in fall.
Right. She can't make wheat grow in winter, as far as we know.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Right. Exactly. Whereas for
like,
Lawrence,
after a certain
he
point,
can trade no matter what what season it is, and so it's not about the actual cycles. It's just about the quantity.
right? But that's the point that makes him so mysterious to me. He's a solo merchant. He is literally shooting himself in the foot every day. He does this without somebody.
Sure.
He could be maximizing his time so much more if he had basically one partner, which now he does, what do you know? And he's probably going to
Indeed.
find this out rather quickly. But it's just the kind of thing of where he probably has a system. He probably has his own way of doing things. He probably is comfortable enough that he doesn't feel like the need to change it. But he was pinching the minutes on those specific things because time is money. And yet it's is it really? Because even your own perspective on things
Right,
is
even-
going to be limited through that.
Even
vein of
just
things.
thinking about him traveling and stuff. How much okay, let's say you pinch some minutes here and there, but you'll also kind of be dictated by the rise and fall of the sun, right?
Yep.
Unless you're getting an actual day's worth of progress, isn't it kind of going to equalize,
Right.
kinda, you know.
Yeah,
But,
it
I mean, hey, maybe
gets
he's-
really tough. But I like the idea that he is not ever stopping. I don't think there's any point where you could see that he's like giving up or losing heart in this whole venture.
Right. He's very much like he is satisfied with the life that he is living.
I would say he is set in
Sure.
things. He is
Maybe that's a better way to say
right.
it.
I think he's still a bit of a mystery box with regards to how satisfied he is with
Okay,
everything.
I like it.
Because he had brought up the whole wolves, hunting humans thing. There was a very specific point where he was just running from wolves and he wasn't anywhere near a horse or a carrier
Yep,
or a
and
cart
one of
or
the people he
anything.
was with got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said he's been attacked 8 times. Meaning like he can count.
Yeah, there's a reason that he had that dagger with him.
Right.
You know, that when like he's like, oh shit,
Right.
pulls that thing out.
What is that dagger going to do against, 5 wolves attacking him? Jack shit.
Probably jack shit.
Actually nothing. So the idea that maybe he has a head just for numbers and he never forgets things because that's his merchant brain, going
Sure.
there. But the idea that he knew that it was 8 times and he knew quickly and it was a very sore subject for him.
I imagine after
Maybe he
that
doesn't
time where
travel with people for a reason now.
sure, yeah, maybe he did originally and like that happened. And I would not be surprised if times 2 through 8, he had a ready torch handy to, scare them off or whatever so they didn't mess around
Well,
with him
he's
too
alive,
much.
so yeah, he
right.
survived somehow.
Clearly.
But
yeah.
but just the idea that
I'm guessing it wasn't with the dagger is what I'm saying.
right, just as somebody who lives in a world where I don't get attacked by wild animals much, if at all.
Right.
I do remember, because of how weird it is, the 1 or 2 times where I've had like the close encounters of the animal kind. But in a world where he's in this medieval pseudo fantasy because of Holo
Yeah.
world here, he remembers the 8 times, and it's very like, hey, I'm sorry that I, was condescending and a bit rude to you there, but that's not cool. That's a boundary. We don't cross that here.
Yeah.
And yet in my mind, I'm like, whoa, every single one of those times. And it's like, it was a lot for him. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I imagine just with the experience of having a friend get killed by wolves, as you run and like leave them behind,
Yeah.
I imagine that in and of itself, regardless of what the events are like after that, would make you remember every time that it happened, Because it's the that inherently is going to escalate things, at least psychologically for you, right?
And then again, why doesn't he have a person with him it's the safety in numbers. If you get attacked by wolves so many times.
And yet at the same time, like you get partners and things like that if they're not in with an equal share or whatever, if they're like, no, I'm tired, I want to sleep or whatever, if
Sure,
any number of
sure.
things happen, right?
Sure.
He's been able to make it work with him on his own. He's
maybe
not
I'm-
on his own anymore.
Yeah, and maybe I'm just running too deep with this, but then I guess that just infers some things about his character, that he's not actually that gregarious. Like, he's not actually that charismatic. He's,
Sure, like he does the negotiating thing, but like when he's not in that, he'll just be like,
I just sleep.
yeah,
Maybe that's it. He's just a workaholic.
he's oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
He's a workaholic bachelor. Like, and that's
Yeah,
why
yeah.
that's I think why like part of the point of him doing this kind of job. He does not have any roots anywhere, right? It's
No.
he just goes and he does his thing and he's able to make his good buck.
So then what does he want?
Yeah, it's a good question.
What does he want?
Well, eventually, ostensibly, a family.
What?
From what we saw in the first episode,
Well,
but
I know.
whether he wants that now,
Accidents happen, Jacob,
not with Holo the Wise. Well,
With the next episode being called Sweet Temptation, bro, it might have happened real soon,
it might have been an accident for you, but it was not for me.
Yes. I saw you eyeing my amazing tail and my ears that I'm so proud of.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
She does like the fluttering, the fluttering eye thing, but instead it's with the ears.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Yep.
But yes, their repartee is fun. The joy that Holo has kind of carries the show right now for me, though. I think that I would love to see more contradictions from him that are pulled out by Holo's kind of playful jabs. with
Right,
him.
right. You're using Bonetti's defense against me,
Yes,
huh?
exactly.
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
love to see him switch from his left hand to his true hand.
Which, on that note, I really appreciate how we're 2 episodes into the show, right? And where you have this, very entitled aristocratic, character and all that stuff that's like, I'm so special and all that stuff, and you need to do all these things for me. She is actually helping out and doing all, she's
But she still has a debt to pay.
no, yeah, absolutely. But she is actually, paying that debt. And when it gets to the point where it's like, the witty repartee that can be so fun that ends up going in a direction that maybe isn't fun anymore.
It's a little bit uncomfortable.
that then there's the
yeah.
let's stop this.
I very much appreciate that because I oftentimes don't like the ways in which people communicate boundaries in stories.
Sure.
A lot of the times,
If at all.
well, no, I think people do often. It's just that it's not as healthy. But the thing that I really liked from him was that he didn't do anything other than be like, "Hey, I really didn't like that. And don't do that again." Mm-hmm. And then she's just like, "Oh shit! This is serious. We're not bantering anymore." Time passes.
Yep.
First person to speak next is her, being like, "Are you angry with me?" Kind of like, "Hey, I'm gonna give him some space," but then also I'm gonna be the first person to initiate and be like, "Hey, are we okay?" And he's like, "No, I'm still a little mad." And what I really like about this is that she focused on kind of connecting with his feelings specifically. And there's a possibility that in this story of a regular mortal and the immortal,
Sure.
the divine and the mundane, that she might not care about the emotions of humans.
Possibly.
And yet the fact that one of her first things she did after she realized, 'cause it took her a second to realize, oh shit, I actually touched a nerve
Right.
there. She's like,
we were having so much fun. Oh, he's
Right.
bleeding. Yeah.
she then, even after that, opened with a little bit of vulnerability of what it's like to be a wolf.
Yeah.
And then he goes, oh, shit, wait. Oh, your perspective. And then she's like, got you back into the whole thing, and now we're
Right.
even. Which is a playful way of saying, hey, I'm not mad at you for getting mad. I'm also not going to close myself off entirely because
Right.
you got mad at me there for that. I also am not above playing with you in the midst of this here. So while he didn't do anything wrong by just starting to ask, the idea that she's like, and now we're even, she's also disarming the potential barbs that could come into the future from this by going, hey, at some point it'll probably get brought up. It'll
Right.
probably be something that'll come about.
While also having it be something where it's and now you found the sensitive topic for me.
Right. It's my own boundaries.
Yeah.
But therefore, we now have a connection. Because when you have something where someone's boundaries get pushed or what have you, the connection frays a little bit.
Right.
But she's basically saying, no, look. Here's my thing over here. I'm initiating this of my own volition. She only played after that to basically be like, oh, but I have my own boundaries and that's good. And she's basically saying, by the extension of I'm acknowledging my boundaries, I'm respecting yours, because no part in this whole exchange here did I poke at your thing. I showed that I can discuss the nature of what we were talking about before while actively avoiding talking about it in the way and what that you had a problem with. So I just
And
really
also
like that. I really like that a lot.
finding a way to, through comedy, basically tell him that's a sore subject for me. And it's fine that we got to the point where we were talking about it. I let you know that I don't want to. Yeah.
That it is a sore subject for me.
Right, exactly.
I basically offered that.
yeah.
So just
Yep.
very cool stuff. Very, 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 very wonderful, respectful dialogue. And
Yeah. Isn't it great having adults as main characters?
adults as main characters is wonderful, but also just very different adults.
Yes.
These are characters that could not be
further
apart from each other.
Yep.
So having the tropes all set up for the kinds of stuff that will actively get used. I love this because it seems like within 2 episodes, we're already using every weapon at our disposal. And that just means I'm like, give me more tools, give me more weapons, give me more resources, give me more things.
Yep. And so, yeah.
I'm just hungry for them to give it to me faster, maybe a little bit. Like,
the comments that I want to make about that.
yes,
but
I did that. I said it intentionally.
I know you did. I know you did, Simmons. Good man.
Good man, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's how you can have a show where maybe it's about what's the exchange rate for this coin, you know?
Again,
and it's like, nah.
that's bait.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not about the exchange rate of the coin. It could be 0.69 nice
Right.
for all we know, but you know, doesn't matter.
It's about these characters interacting through that, and then the economic side of things ends up, just giving
Nice
them
foundational layer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that little bit of sort of seed to the conversation generator, right?
Asking why.
Yeah.
Asking why. I'm very excited about the whys for you, Lawrence of Craftabia. I don't know. Y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general. Also, be sure to check out our Twitch channel. See if any of that interests you. We'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.